Okay, so it's about 5:46 in the morning. I just tried to read a whole bunch, and it was like a 15-minute video, and it said it wouldn't go up on YouTube. So I'm gonna read it in a smaller section. I decided that I wanted to just start reading to you tonight, and upload it during the night, and then send it to you tomorrow because we're going to go to Haney's tomorrow pretty early and go to the Lamathon, so I won't be here to record me reading to you, and I would like for this to be something kind of regular, I guess. So we'll see how it goes. I'm just in the mood right now, so anyway, I'm going to pick up where I started off, where I left off. I'm going to do the searching for God knows what ones in black and white. That's probably what I'll just read to you, since I don't know where you'll be in Blue Eye Jazz. Anyway, here we go. I stocked up on bagels at the back of the conference room because I was the first one there. I chose a chair somewhere near the middle, and soon fellow writers began shuffling in, perhaps 20 or so, over the next 10 minutes. Everybody was being very quiet, looking over their notebooks, but I made small talk with a woman next to me about why they were there and where they had come from and what sort of books they liked to read. Some of the nicest people you'd ever hope to meet will be at a Christian writer's seminar, I'll tell you that right now. Very small people though, mostly women. Not the sort of folks you would imagine taking literature captive for the glory of God, but kind and other-centered nonetheless. The lady sitting next to me was writing a wonderful series of Christian devotionals for girls who were taking ballet classes, and the lady on the other side of me was writing a series of devotionals you could read while drinking tea. When she told me this, a lady in front of us turned around and smiled back. She was working on a series of devotionals you could read while drinking coffee. I told them their books sounded terrific because it's true that some people like tea and some people like coffee, and for that matter, some people dance in ballets. The ladies asked me what I was working on, and I told them about the nun in South America and described a specific scene in which the nun actually ponders whether or not she has fallen in love with a dictator named Pablo Hernandez Juarez. And I had the ladies lean in, and I told them the part where the nun is standing on a balcony overlooking a Pacific sunset, painfully considering whether she should go back inside to be with Pablo or whether she should scale the side of the dictator's castle, thus escaping to move on to the next country, the next dictator, and the next story of passion and liberation. You could tell the ladies really liked my story, and all three of them told me it was a terrific idea. And I told them about how, in my mind, it was actually a musical, and I whistled a few bars from the love theme. I was going to tell them about the kid who grew up in a maze and brought down the United States Postal Service, but that's when the lady that was going to be teaching the seminar showed up. She was also a small woman, but she knew her stuff. 3 of her books had been published: a series of devotionals you could read while eating chocolate, a book about hidden secrets of fulfillment found in end times prophecy, and a book about how to make big money painting small houses. 3 different genres, she told us, but each one had been a success. She told us that there are in fact formulas for writing successful books, and that if we followed one of these formulas, we too could write books that end up on a subcategory Christian or Catholic bestseller list, not the monthly ones, but the annual ones, which also consider backlist titles and total sales, including sales on mini-series and radio stations as promotional giveaways. Of course, I was interested, and I elbowed the lady next to me and lifted my elbows. The first formula goes like this, the seminar instructor began, holding a finger in the air. You begin with a crisis. This can be a global crisis, a community crisis, whatever kind of crisis you want. This isn't a problem or a nuisance, Mind you, this is a crisis. This must be something terrible that is going to happen to the world, to the country, to the church, or to the individual unless the reader does something about it. The reader must be taken to the point where they fear the consequences of this crisis. Second, there must be a clear enemy in the crisis, some group of people or some person or some philosophy that is causing the crisis. You must show examples of how these people are causing the crisis simply because they are the enemy of all that is good. Third, you must spell out the ramifications of the crisis should it go unchecked, and also the glory and beauty of the crisis if dealt with. You must paint a picture of a war against evil forces that are trying to cause this crisis, and you must enlist the reader in the war, painting a very clear picture of the reader as the good guy in the war against the crisis. Fourth, and finally, you must spell out a 3 to 4 step plan of dealing with said crisis. And with this, she took a breath. "Is that clear?" she asked. And she delivered the last line. She more or less stood up straight, her petite frame putting out the confident vibe of a drill sergeant. I knew then and there that these were the women to take literature captive for the glory of God. That in fact, standing before me was the archetype of my South American nun. But as excited as I was, I confess, I began to wonder how I was going to work the formula into Sister of Democracy, Show Some Leg, or Maze Boy, How One Man Brought Down the United States Postal Service. I think I'm going to go to the next video for this so it's not too big. But yeah, on to the next video.